A brief demonstration of wooden slat armor. The armor plates are woven like a piece of cloth. I am using a simple plain weave over and under and over and under. The only difference between it and a piece of cloth is that I'm using ash wood instead of warp threads. I'm weaving with bast fiber twine, in this case hemp. The weaving takes many hours. A small panel like this takes about half a day. It's important to weave as tightly as possible, as this is going to determine the strength of the armor. It's also important that the tension remains even, otherwise the armor will buckle. A great many meters of twine are needed. Here we see the finished panel ready for testing. The weaving prevents the wooden slats from being split by arrows. For comparison, I will first demonstrate by splitting a piece of bare hardwood. Antler arrowheads are particularly good at splitting boards. The arrow acted as a splitting wedge, forcing the grain apart and splitting the edge off of the board. Now we will try the arrow against the woven slat armor. The weaving holds the wood together, preventing it from splitting. Being unable to force itself through, the force of the arrow was directed sideways, breaking the shaft below the head. Stone arrows tend to be too brittle to do any real damage. This arrow got lucky and was cushioned by striking a gap. It was unable to force itself through and part of the edge broke off. It did not survive a second shot, this time breaking at the tip and at the base. Steel broadheads fare better, but the armor still offers decent protection. The arrow perfectly struck a gap between two slats. It penetrated about 1.5 inches, but the weaving prevented the boards from opening wide enough to accept the shaft. This time the arrow struck a board directly and only penetrated about 1/8 of an inch. The arrow also broke just below the head. The armor also fares surprisingly well against steel cutting weapons like axes. The damage looks worse than it is. While some of the cords have been cut, the slats themselves sustained no significant damage. Apart from some loose ends, the armor remains intact on the inside. It would take a lot of hits before the armor disintegrated. Thank you for watching.